Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. It's my pleasure to introduce Professor Nian-Shing Chen. He will be giving a talk under our Discovery lecture series on embodied cognition and gesture-based learning. Dr. Chen is a long-term collaborator. We have been collaborating for about 17 years or so. And he has been pioneer in number of different things. He started with synchronous cyber classroom when even the term was not very kind of understood. And he has been running. He has developed systems in that area for collaboration. And one thing I really liked about his research that he's a very practical person. So he has systems that are used by very large number of teachers for their classes who use the system as knowledge management system, as systems that provide history of how different processes have been done. Last night he was actually running a class from here to Taiwan, completely synchronous, and it was a very interactive class. It was not just that lecture. There are probably very little lecturing going on there, and more recently he has been working with the augmented reality, virtual reality, natural user interface technologies, and within that the gesture-based learning is something that is a new area that he's working on. So I'll invite him to start his talk, and looking forward to learning from it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this discovery series. I'm very honored, to be invited. And today I'm going to share two different topics. The first one is gesture-based learning, and the second one is about game-based learning. So the first one I started a few years ago because I realized I actually sitting in front of my computer, every day for so many hours, okay, and I think it's not healthy. So I think I need to do something to change it. Okay, so then I encountered to this embodiment and embodied cognition. So this is very good. Okay, so I start to explore it, and I'm really kind of excited about the potential of how we can change our instructional design when we are doing our course design. We don't just focus on our brain. We can also kind of start to involve our body. Okay, so brain is not just controlling our body. Okay, actually our brain also will be influenced by our body. And recently, we can from time to time we hear many people emphasize on how to train our next generation computational thinking. Okay, computational thinking is very important, yes, but I reflect upon my own experience. I would say, okay, actually for each generation, they have no problem of solving problem with computational thinking, okay? But actually we should be balanced. So now today I want to deliver one message, which is actually as a human being, maybe human computational thinking is also very important, okay? So humankind, after so many years of evolution, we finally, stand up, right? But technology kind of bring us back. So that's the reason why I said now I almost maintain this posture or gesture all day long, right? And it's no good. So let's see how we can change it. So first, let's look at two typical examples. When we want to design system, actually there are kind of two ways to design it. One is you just focus on using computational thinking, computational approach. Another way is we also take embodiment into consideration. So let's look at these two typical examples. This one, no. Am I online? No, but this is my computer. Okay. Just a second. No, but that one, I need to.
Why will not working if we just store wireless?
Yeah. Just a second. Let me just do one.
Go for EduROM or
Yeah, it's connected. Need to do one. Okay. Let's see. This one. It's loading. I tested in, Oh, okay. Just. So basically, this is just kind of just use the CPU as a central control unit, and then just send command to through the mechanical mechanism. Okay, so it failed. Let's look at another example. This one is even harsh. Okay, so the second one, actually the design is kind of its embodiment. Okay, so it's kind of cooperate with the central processing unit and also the body mechanism. It's tightly seamless integration. Okay, so I just want to use these two examples to show you the potential of how this embodiment can be a very good guidance for us to be informed, to come up with better design. Okay, but here as educator, then we are thinking about how embodiment, can be better inform our effective instructional design. So actually, there are three kind of problem solving. Okay, one is we solve problem, only using our brain, and the second one is you solve problem by kind of cooperation, between the brain and the body, and the third one, even in some cases, actually we can solve problem just, using the body, even without the brain's involvement. Okay, so there are three types. Let me quickly introduce you this very famous experiment. Okay, and to show you how human being is, how easily our brain can be tricked by our body. Okay, so this experiment basically is to ask a participant to interview a person, and after interview, then ask the participant how trustworthy is the person being interviewed. Okay, so we have two groups. Okay, like one group, when the participant come, we say, "Oh, thank you for coming. This cup of hot coffee for you." Okay, and then you lead the person to a room, interview an applicant. Okay, but of course, there are pre-designed questions for the participant to ask, right? And let's say we have 40 participants. Okay, go through the same procedure. Okay, or holding a cup of hot coffee, and then interview the same person, and after interview we ask, how do you judge how trustworthy is this person? Okay, another 40 participants, we say, "Oh, thank you for coming. Okay, this is a cup of cold coffee." Okay, and lead the person to interview the same person, exactly the same person. Okay, so we can say we have two groups. Okay, 40 subjects in each group, and at the end of the experiment, okay, we see, how they judge the same person. Okay, so the majority of participants who holding a cup of hot coffee, they all favor to say, "Oh, this is a trustworthy person. If I'm the boss, I want to hire this person." Okay. On the other hand, another group of 40 participants, just because holding a cup of cold coffee, and then they tentatively to say, "No, this one is not trustworthy. I'm not going to hire him." Okay. See, so just a cup of coffee, just the temperature difference, then our decision making can be changed. Okay, so this is called priming effect. So I come up with this idea of embodied the brain. Okay, so normally we all know human being has two brain, right? Left brain and right brain. Okay, left brain control rational stuff. Right brain control emotional stuff. But maybe we also have the third brain. Why I come up with this third brain idea? Because we all know our body has memory. If I say, oh, our body has memory, then I think every one of you would agree. But if I say maybe our body also has CPU, then you kind of curious. Okay, the reason is because two story we used to say, when you are sleeping, right? Actually, your brain is not working if you are really sleeping, right? But actually, when you are sleeping, you can still learning. Okay, why is that? Why cannot be happen? Because your brain is already totally shut down, but you still, when you are sleeping, you can still learn something. So which means something going on at the background, which kind of, when you are sleeping, actually, because your body has memory. In the day, you experience something, you work on something, the body kind of memorize it. Okay, so in the night when you are sleeping, it trigger memory to kind of recite or review. Okay, yeah. So then I say, oh, maybe there's also a brain which can work independently in our body without the involvement of the brain. Okay. So this is one element, which is embodiment, embodied cognition. And then another important element is about human-computer interaction. Okay, so we have gone through from the initial stage of command line interface. So you interact with computer, just typing line commands, right? So that's the command line interface. And then now most of the application actually is GUI, is graphical user interface. You just use keyboard and mouse, okay? But nowadays, actually, we are all shifting toward to natural user interface. Natural user interface is like use with the touch screen. So you just use your finger to touch it, right? This is more nature. And the big wave coming is they call conversational interface. So which is kind of you don't need to use anything. You just kind of verbally talk to the environment, and then you can get everything done. So this is very kind of beautiful, promising future we are all looking forward to. Okay, so conversational interface. One you can realize immediately nowadays is like Google Home, okay, or Amazon, the Echo Dot, okay. And actually last year, chatbot is very popular. Everyone would like to build their own chatbot, okay. So these are all contributed to the possibility or availability of we can now design this natural user interface application. So if the user interface is natural user interface, which means we don't have to relearn, or we don't need to learn a new way to interact with computer. We just use our natural way. So it reuse the existing skill. So that will lower down, the adaptation barrier. So to use gesture, there are three types of application of using gesture. The first one is very common, which is like using gesture as command inputs. Okay, and the second one is using gesture to kind of to promote exercise. This with the Wii remote or the Connect, it's already a large application in this area. But I'm more focusing on the third types of application, which is how can we use gesture to enhance learning. Okay, under this category, there are two approaches to design it. One is you use gesture or use your body as kind of part of the learning experience. Okay, this one is, in my opinion, this one is a little bit easier than the second one, because the second one is you have to design the system, the learning system, which the gesture or the body movement has to be kind of with the implication of improved cognitive process, and that is the difficult part. Okay, so in my lab, we have designed a couple of systems into this kind of two categories. Okay, today I'm going to just share one typical example. The first one, using embodiment to learn vocabulary, English vocabulary. But there's another one, which is to use body to prime potential solution. So when you are doing problem solving, like the two-stream problem, we design one just use keyboard and mouse, and another one use embodiment. And the group using embodiment seems to be perform better, because the kind of it prime the cognitive processing, so they can come up with more alternative solution. Okay, so these are all the systems developed in my lab, but today I only share this one. So the goal is to learn this 13 action-oriented phrases. Okay, like you throw a ball or you cut a cake. Okay, and if it's embodiment design, then we ask a participant to pronounce the phrase, but also do a specific action. So the body has to involve in the learning process. Okay, like as shown on this screen, like throw a ball. Okay, so the system pop up, then you have to pronounce throw a ball, but at the same time you also need to pick up an object and throw it. Okay, so this is how we get the body involved in the learning process. So we have two groups. Okay, exactly the same content, but one group just sitting still in front of a computer, okay, and using mouse to learn these action phrases. Another group stand up, walk free, okay, and enjoy the learning process. Okay. So this is the result. Okay. So after the experiment, we conduct two assessments. One is free recall, another one is Q recall. Of course, free recall is more difficult than Q recall because Q recall you provide clue, okay? Yeah, but so there is no significant difference between these two groups for free recall. Actually, we conducted a couple of studies. Most of them, the immediate test, no significant difference. But for delayed test, it all shows significant difference. Okay, so let me explain a little bit more. So immediate test for free recall, no significant difference. But for Q recall, it does. Okay, and immediate test for but Q recall is kind of maybe simpler. So the body already show the effect. The body involvement already show the effect. So with significance difference. Okay, but then what's interesting is just one day delay test. Okay, for free recall, immediate test no significant difference. One day delay test, it shows significant difference for the embodiment group. Okay, so this gives us the indication with body involvement in the learning process. It promotes kind of recall, okay, retention, okay. Maybe in the night, the embodiment group continue to learn, continue to throw the ball, okay? Yeah. So this is very interesting. So you can see the keyboard mouse group, okay? Immediate test and delay test, no significant difference. But for the embodiment group, just one day already shows significant difference. This is for free recall. It's the most, it's more difficult task, not Q recall. Yeah. So here comes the more interesting part. Okay, as I say, we conducted a serious study. Okay, even most of them, immediate test, no significant difference, but delay test all show promising results. Okay, so then it got me think, what caused that effect? Okay, of course you can simply just say, oh, it's body involvement and then it resides or whatever. But my hypothesis is there are four possible reasons to cause this effect. Okay, one could be input, from input perspective. Okay, because with body involvement, it already reduced the complexity of the problem. So input. Why is that? Maybe it's multi-channel or multi-modal, whatever. Okay, so with body involvement, you kind of you get additional support, so you can reduce the complexity of the problem. The second one, maybe body involvement promote your cognitive processing, so it reduces your cognitive load. Because if you can reduce your cognitive load, then you can have more capacity to deal with the real problem. Okay? So input process, and then you learn, right? You learn, you have to store it. Once you learn, you have to store it. Okay? It's better to store into your long-term memory. Okay? But if you store into your long-term memory just one copy, let's say just one copy, okay? So the next day you need to use it, use the knowledge you learn, then you have to retrieve, right? You have to retrieve it back. So if it's kind of multiple representation, it says with body environment, whatever you learn will be 2 copies, okay? Not just 1 copy. So then when you want to retrieve, then either one, once you get one, you get the answer, right? It's like in your hard disk, right? Then if you have 2 copies, then if one file with 1 section, section error, you still have another one. Okay, so that's might be the reason. And then output, okay, output is because you need to retrieve it back. So there are different paths, okay, different paths to access the long-term memory. So maybe if you have 2 copies, then there are 2 potential paths. One might be shorter. so you get the effect. Okay. Anyway, this is the potential research, future research topic I call for, collaboration. Okay. So let me quickly share the design issue. So when you think about how can you use body in the design of the learning process, you think these 3 main components, application, you decide, which application you are going to apply, and pedagogy, and then gesture type. From the literature, it's surprise to me because only 3 types of gesture: pointing gesture, representational gesture, like a big, small, and metaphoric gesture. But I would say, actually, it should be more than just 3 types, okay? But because before we didn't really, put much effort to do study on how different types of gesture can be invented and can be adopted in design learning process. So in the future, I think we can invent more. I even have 2 ideas. One is, when you are doing a Google search, why you should type? Maybe you just put a gesture, okay? And then the Google will do it, okay? Or actually, Apple just announced iPhone 10 using, face recognition to unlock, right? Yeah, but there already many criticize on that. My invention would be, I would invent a very complex gesture sequence, okay? So only you follow the specific sequence, then you can unlock. So this is like a sesame open kind of thing. And so if you cannot just copy your eye lens or just cut your hand, still have the fingerprints, you see? So you have to keep you alive. Otherwise there is no way to do it, right? Yeah. Okay. I also propose some research framework to continue to do research in this area. One is kind of, since we can invent different gesture types, right? And we have different learning subjects. So it might be a match between these 2, okay? So to learn mathematics, maybe representational is better. I don't know. But to learn literature, maybe metaphoric is better. So there's a match, okay? So we can manipulate this variable and to see which one is better for certain type of learning, okay? And the second idea is to address individual difference. Okay, maybe different, we consider learner's profile, maybe different types of like a cognitive style or learning style. You need to design, different gesture to kind of maximize their preference. Okay, so this is also open area. We can do a lot of research based on this kind of thinking. And another one, which is of course we would like to get our body involved in the learning process, but there are two ways to do it. One is you do it yourself, another one is you do it through your avatar. Which one is better? Okay, yeah, so let's see. We all seen this movie, so I conducted a study using Second Life, because in Second Life you do exercise but through your avatar. Okay, and I use Connect, which you have to do it yourself. Okay, and I was expecting do it yourself with your own body will be more effective, but we conducted a study in primary school, and actually the through avatars is better than do it yourself. But it's just one study, we cannot really draw firm conclusion, but it's interesting. Okay, so if you ask me, I would say it depends. Okay, it depends. Maybe when you see, I don't know if you have this experience. If you just watch basketball, okay, and then even you are lying down on the sofa watching the basketball, right? And then maybe a player jump, and then you have that kind of tentative motion. You also want to react or do that. Okay, yeah. So if this could be an effective effect, then I think through the avatar it's also produce the effect. Okay, but anyway, I just say this would be very interesting. We can come up with many different kind of research design and to see which one is better. Yeah. So here are some recommended reading, and this is for the first study. Okay. It took more than what I expected. Let me quickly go through the second one, and then I leave you for Q&A. Okay. Yeah. I just started this one 2 years ago, and now I'm getting more excited about this one. This is to use robots and toy, okay? Educational robots and toy, but the toy is not ordinary toy. It's IoT based toy. Okay, this is I think it's very interesting, and let me show you why I got this idea. Okay, and what's the goal I'm going to do is because I really want to solve a problem, which is second language learning problem. So I would say, no matter what kind of solution or what kind of approach you adopt or you apply to learn a second language, it will never be better than you just learn it as first language. Okay, so actually we should try to cultivate at least multilingual baby, or I will project in the future, maybe 10 years, 20 years, every single baby will be multilingual baby. Okay, so once every single baby is multilingual baby, then there is no need to struggling for second language learning. Okay, and it will come. Okay, why? Here is one of the possible solution. Okay, yeah. It would be nice, when you have a baby, then the baby is multilingual. Every single language is mother tongue language. Okay. Now, how can you have multiple tongue language? You only have a biological mother, right? But let me introduce you as many mothers as possible. Okay, using robots. Okay. Yeah. So if you learn this way, that's the second language learning. Okay? If you learn this way, that's the first language learning approach. Okay? So this one already proved very inefficient. Okay? I used to say, I learned English from secondary school till college. Okay? When I get my PhD degree, I cannot say one complete sentence in English. How many years I have been learning English? So how effective the school provide us to learn a second language, right? So let's look at for this. So the solution I'm looking for is to create a language immersive environment. Okay, I will mimic exactly the same as a baby growing in family environment. Okay, so this is the key. After look at a bunch of literature, I realized, okay, there is a golden window for this, which is 18 months, 1.5 years old to 3 years old, 6 months. This is the golden window. Okay, so this is my target learner. Okay, I focus on 1.5 to 3 years old. Okay, because this has been supported by many studies, But the problem is, to design a learning environment, immersive learning environment for baby, it's very challenging. Okay, it's very difficult. So I come up with this idea of using robot and toy. Originally, I just think about robot. But the more I explore, I realize no, just using robot, it wouldn't work. Okay, why? Because look at this. So the context I'm going to build is like a baby, not anyway, it's just 18 months, 36 months, okay? Oh, and just play, okay? There's no, we don't say to parent or baby, sit and learn, okay? Don't say that, okay? Even don't say to parent, oh, you have a perfect solution to learn second first language. No, just play. Why? Because this is also supported by evidence, by literature, okay? in kind of the activity, family activity can be classified into this 11 category. Okay, but in my opinion, baby only do 3 things. What do baby do? 3 things: sleep, eat, and play. Just sleep, eat, and play. Okay. So and the best way to get baby play, to enjoy playing, is through toy. Okay. So that's the reason why now I'm focused on design IoT based toy. Okay. So recently I just finished develop these 3 prototypes just to kind of proof of concept of how I can design toy using IoT, using different types of sensor. Okay. So let's see. So this is basically the architecture of the system. Here we have robot. Okay. Robot is also very important. This robot is to provide the role as a mother. So that's very important. Okay. But today I don't have much time to elaborate more about this. I just focus on toy. But the scenario we design is kind of two main lines. One is the activity of how baby interact with toy, and another line is how baby interact with robot. But robot would have a very clear, specific role, okay, which a parent can define it, okay, and then through the playing process, these two, robot and toy, will have two-way communication. Okay. So this is the first one. It's a box. Okay, and baby can touch, just through touch. Okay, and then the system will respond immediately. Okay. So you can have some cardboard with different picture and attach to each side. So the content can be changed. It's not fixed. So every single toy I'm aiming to design is not a fixed toy. You know, it's a programmable toy, which the content designer can always, create to change it. Okay, and we use Raspberry Pi, and so it's embedded system with the touch sensor. Okay. So let's look at example. And the box, you can design the box kind of very small. Okay, the box could be very small. So then you can then even put it into existing toy. So you just touch, right? Ignore the pronunciation of the voice. Okay, this is by the technical developer. So, of course. So the system actually it's not kind of just simple trigger, which means if you touch the first time, it will respond just pronounce the object. But if you touch second time, then you will start to say more, 3 times, okay? And this could be designed by professional content designer based on pedagogy, okay? Yeah. So this one is using touch sensor to create, to design toy, okay? And the second one, using RFID tag. So different types of sensor, okay? Also embedded system. So it's all embedded in a small box, okay? That's the detail. So it's self-contained with the battery, okay? So there is no wire, okay? I even said to my student, I said, this is our biggest test. The toy we design, we take it into a family for a baby, and how long you expect it will be broken? Okay, 10 seconds. No. I just want to remind them, because our target learner is a baby, okay? You cannot expect that they should be disciplined, careful. No, okay, and safety, okay, yeah. So you can design many different mechanisms to trigger the effect, okay, like a simple interaction, conditional interaction, or multiple objects through a certain sequence. Okay, I just show you one. All this is kind of a bit slow. Yeah. So this one, the RFID tag is in the car. Okay.
Where is yellow? Yellow, yellow, yellow banana, yellow, yellow lemon, yellow, yellow, yellow. Where? Here. Oh, yellow pineapple.
Yeah. So once again, what you just think is just proof of concept. It's not a final product. Okay. It's just to show the possibility of using IoT tool. Okay. But like the box, the bread box, as I say, I'm thinking to put inside, okay, inside existing toy, okay. So baby might be addicted to certain type of toy, so we can just leverage that, just make it kind of become more dynamic to react to the context. So this one using RFID, the first one using touch sensor. Okay, this is the third one using near field communication, like in your pocket, the smartphone, always near field communication. Now you use this to pay for micro payment. Okay. So once again, all this content, you can create a lot of this kind of cardboard, and then you can then create different sequence of scenario. Okay, so and the content kind of it's unlimited. It's not just fixed. as long as you can provide, many cardboard and you can design different learning scenario. Okay. So let's look at one demo. Second time.
Oh, I love apple. It is yummy.
Third time.
Banana. Oh, I love banana. It is yummy. One banana, two bananas, 1, 2, 3.
So the song can also, so you can have like a music bank, and you can even use random, so you will behave, every time different, right?
Which one is pineapple? Yes, this is pineapple. Which one is grape? No, this is apple. Yes, this is grape.
So hopefully, using this kind of sensor, it will be very affordable. It's not expensive, okay? And also through the script editor, you can always create as many content as possible, okay? Okay, so that's it. And because I set the goal, I said, okay, I'm going to introduce these two studies, each one 18 minutes. Just like a TED talk, but actually I spent more than what I expected. But yeah, so I would love to have, your input and comments and questions, okay?
Can I ask a question about your first study?
Yes.
So, can you go back to the slide was the comparison between two groups?
Just a second.
It seems that the rote memory group has some difficulty in memorizing the newly learned words. So
Which is like
the comparison between the rote memory group and the embodied group.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. The next. Can you go back? Go to the next or the next one, right? Or the next one. The next one. Yes, this one. So if you look at this two comparisons, you can notice that the green bar, no, the blue bar actually dropped.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that seems to be a retention problem for me.
Yes.
So it seems to me that the
But that's more reasonable.
right.
You should decay.
Right.
Why shouldn't you? Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So now my question is, the action words that they learn are quite concrete, but how about those abstract words like I hate eating?
Yes, yeah. Good point.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, good point. Because we want to get body involved. That's the reason why we first target this, acting phrases. You see the point? Because it's much easier to design. Okay, because as I say, when you are trying to adopt embodiment cognition into instructional design, the challenge is, you have to give every single motion or action, kind of meaningful educational meaning. And it's very challenging, okay? So that's the reason why and in this study, we just want to assess the body involvement's effects. So that's the reason why we choose this, acting praxis. But then it draws a question, can we also learn abstract, right? Abstract or more concept-oriented phrases instead of this kind of, it's easy to add upon the phrases. Okay, but I think this is also an open question, I think about this, but I tentative to draw the hypothesis of it's still possible, okay? Yeah, just like many people ask me, what subject suitable to do online teaching? I used to answer, it depends on how good is your online teaching skill. or you can say that, okay, can we learn swimming online? Then many people say no. Okay, yes, I agree. If you don't call swimming pool, you never learn how to swim. But it doesn't mean you cannot learn swimming online. Okay, because I watch a lot of YouTube video to improve my swimming skill. See, yeah. But anyway, good point, and I think we should dig, into that. Okay, yeah, please.
I had a similar thing in language teaching. We use something called total physical response, where you can teach a lot of actions quite easily without ever saying anything. You say jump, and then you show somebody how to jump, you use that word. But it sort of stops at vocabulary. It might stop at some imperatives, but then when you get to complicated grammar, you're stuck. You can't really teach it through total physical response. But combined with something else, it's very useful. So that's what it reminded me of.
Yes.
And another thing I was thinking of was sign language. I wonder when people learn sign language, when they physically actually do the signs versus when they're learning online, watching somebody or reading about it. What
Exactly.
the differences would be in the rate of retention and learning.
Yeah. Mohammed Jamie, his group doing a lot of study in sign language, right?
Assistive technologies,
Yeah.
including sign language.
Yeah.
This technology.
Yeah. So
And he's coming here.
Yeah.
In beginning of October.
Do you feel like there's likely to be a difference between that and the analog with actually speaking it versus just reading it and listening?
I think so, because it will be much more communicative. I mean, you could actually, I'm supposing that it sticks in your mind more than like muscle memory. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be the thing to find out. Muscle memory
So, I mean,
helps you associate the action.
surely you learn better if you're actually speaking the language than if you don't.
Yeah.
If you're just reading grammar, etc. And so similarly, so it would be interesting to see whether the actions associated with the gestures of signs has a bigger or lesser impact than verbalizing.
Especially non-iconic signs. Signs that are really not very close to what they mean. Those would be the ones to look at.
yes, as I just said, there are a couple potential reasons to cause that effect. Okay, but muscle memory may be one, or maybe it also depends on how good you can maximize the benefits of the body involvement. Okay, yeah, Angel, yeah.
Looks like one thing is that you're measuring surface learning and deeper process learning.
Surface learning
Which
and
is really short-term to long-term transition. But in order to get to the longer, deeper processing, you need to, time is a factor and repetition is a factor. So I was wondering, when you're doing the activity, spending more time on that activity, would you compare that with how long they were spending on words?
But in our study, of course, we kind of fix the time frame. So both groups will spend exactly the same time. Okay, yeah, and
It'll be interesting how many times they went through the words repetition ones. And maybe have that factor, 3 repetitions, 5 repetitions, 10 versus that physical activity, and see if there's any difference there.
oh, yeah, we didn't do that. Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. Any other comments or input?
So when you were talking about the avatar,
Yeah.
learning via the avatar versus doing it themselves, I guess I didn't quite catch.
Okay.
How were they, I guess, controlling the avatar?
Because we use Second Life. Okay, so in Second Life, you actually you have an avatar represents you, right? And then you can command the avatar to perform certain action or task, right? And
So they were controlling it just by essentially command line?
yes, or by mouse, by moving the cursor to command the avatar to do certain action. Okay, and actually, we can also combine 2 together. See, there's a study they use connect, to sense the real motion, and then extract the features to command the avatar. Okay, so actually we can combine 2 together, but in this study I just want to compare, purely through avatar and purely do it your own, which one is better? Okay, but because our subject is primary school students and it's the same thing to learn, and then we learn all the Olympic game related words. Okay, and the group using avatar perform better than connect. Okay, then do it themselves with their own body. Yeah. So you clear about our study, but I would say if you conduct another study in different setting, the result might be different. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry I was late.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
For this, but you said the students who did the avatar did better remembering the.
No, better than you do it yourself. Because we have 2 groups. Okay, let me show you this one. You get the idea. Like we have 2 groups. Okay, learning exactly the same content. Okay, but one group just sit in front of a computer using keyboard and mouse. Another group, they are free to move and they have to perform certain action. Try to get body involved in the learning process.
And they are both learning the words.
Yeah.
And
Actually, it's not just a word. It's a meaningful phrases. Yeah.
and the group with the avatar learn better.
In this study, my study, this one, this one is the embodiment group learn better, because this one is just no second life, no avatar.
Oh, okay.
This one no avatar. This one is just you do it yourself or you do it just by traditional keyboard mouse. Okay, and what we just discussed is another study. Okay, I conducted in primary school. This is for college student. Okay, that one is for primary school. That one is avatar or do it yourself. Yeah.
I have a question about the second study. I think that's really interesting idea about turning babies into multilingual babies.
Okay.
of course, we need to think what kind of language they need to be learning. But in fact, I mean, learning your first language is very complex. Involve a lot of interaction between the kid and the adult. So the adult will provide a lot of corrective feedback, right? A lot of things. I mean, so what would be the solution to that? Because if we have the technology to help students to learn words or basic concepts, that would be fine. But when we go to more complex interaction, what do you think would be a good solution to that?
A couple of thoughts about your question. Number one, I don't think as a parent we really try to correct when baby didn't say something properly. I don't think so, okay? Because we start from very simple words, okay? Because it's not students, we don't assess them performance, okay? It didn't say, good, but it's okay, tomorrow it will be better. The day after tomorrow, even better. So we don't really correct. Oh, you pronounce wrong, punishment. So this is one thinking, and because it's immersive, and it lasts for certain period of time. So we are not rushed to say, oh, you have to learn this quickly. No, okay. So my basic idea is to implement this mother robot, of course, speak another first language, to mimic exactly the same behavior of biological mother. Okay, that's my basic idea. Okay, so that's the reason we use design thinking approach. So we spend a lot of time videotape how mother interact with baby, in a nature, friendly environment, and we even interview mother how you interact with baby in different setting. Okay, and after we get all that, we just try to design and develop the mother robot to behave, as similar as the biological mothers. Okay, and through the process, we can apply like a machine learning or similar technique to improve the process. Anyway, I think this is a very kind of promising direction, and I would like to dedicate my effort in this direction for many years. Then I would say I can come up with something. Yeah, I'm sure. I invite, if you are interested, we should do it together, because this is a very revolutionized idea about language learning. Okay, it's not learned as a second language. Okay, we learn it first language. On YouTube you can watch one little girl. She speaks 7 languages. Okay, and it's like this 7 languages all become his first language, her first language. Okay, so I think, but because I think that it's a specific growing environment to make that happen, and it's not kind of applicable to every single family. But if we can introduce mother robot, at least the bilingual is doable. Bilingual is doable. Yeah, please.
So I agree with the things that you're saying, but when I was listening to the studies that you did, I didn't, I guess, get the sense that any of those really were similar to how a parent would interact with the child.
You mean the demo I show you?
Yeah, right.
No, that is not qualified content. it's just proof of concept. As I say, I already focus on design script editor. So then once I have the script editor, I will hire professional content developer. Those professional experts, they know, of course, baby's cognitive development. They know how baby learn a first language, all kind of domain knowledge, and I think they can come up with better design. Okay, yeah. So it's still a long way to go, but yeah, Mike.
No, I'm interested in this kid that knows 7 languages. So it seems along the way, as you make progress, and the baby knows to speak one language to the robot and another with the mother. Suppose you have a second robot that spoke the mother's language. How long would it take the baby, or how would the baby figure out how to adjust to a robot speaking the mother's language as opposed to the first robot's language?
I don't have this kind of thinking because
the reason I asked was because the kid with 7 languages probably knows when each of those is appropriate to speak to different people. So
exactly
how did the kid figure that out?
Yes,
That's
this
what I'm asking.
Exactly, and this is the key point. This is exactly the key point, because in my design I can just say, okay, using toy, simple. There is no role for robot, but according to certain study, I know it's not going to work. Okay, so that's the reason why I want to introduce robot, and robot's role has to be like a human.
Right.
Very important, very important. Okay, and how kids differentiate. Let's forget about robot. Okay, just forget about robot, because I observe from many real cases. Like if you some of my friends, okay, Kinsu also one of the example. One
friend?
no, one of my, because Kinsu speak one first language, okay. His wife speak Polish, okay, yeah, and
Only when she doesn't like me.
and my friend, one is Australian, another one is Taiwanese, okay, and their baby, they can speak both language as first language without any problem. How it's very interesting. Let me tell you, even let's say father speak English, mother speak Chinese, okay, and now I mean most of the time when parent interact with baby, father always speak English, mother always speak Chinese. Okay, but one day father want to learn Chinese, so he tried to interact with baby in Chinese. You see how react is the baby in English, okay. The same react to the mother. If mother try to speak in English, no, you just speak Chinese back. So why is that? So I think this is because they already has this language schema corresponding with yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I want robot to kind of create similar effects.
But the reason I ask is because I've been in that situation in Norway. There was a couple. The father was Norwegian, spoke Norwegian. The mother was Canadian, and spoke English.
Yes.
And then I met the kid, Bendik, and he started speaking to me in Norwegian for some reason. And then when I knew enough Norwegian to answer, but I answered in English, and the child immediately adjusted to English.
Yes.
With no hesitation.
No.
So I'm wondering about the transfer.
Yeah.
To answer that question, actually in psycholinguistics we study that study how baby process or this differentiate two different One, for example, one from the parent, one from the father, one from the mother. I mean, the parents speak a language. So it seems that before the age one, they would be able to differentiate. But after one, then they start confused with two languages because they're actually understanding the concept. So and then later on, they will be able to distinguish the two languages more better. So.
And because today I didn't really introduce you how robot would perform, in this kind of application. But yeah, maybe. But I have a very clear kind of idea about how I'm going to develop and design the mother robot. Okay, and I think as I said, the basic principle is how human, behave. I will expect the robot I develop will behave exactly the same. That's the ultimate goal. But of course, through the process, I can improve.
I guess I'd like to challenge your assertion that that age 18 to 36 months is the right time frame to.
Golden window.
I don't believe that.
Fine.
So I used to believe that.
Yes.
And thought, let's teach our son English first.
Uh-huh.
And around 18 months, we'll start introducing him to Spanish.
Yes.
And every time either one of us would try to speak Spanish to him, he would literally throw up his hands and say, "No Spanish, no Spanish," and run off. So, that's just one anecdote, but I've seen a lot of research that clearly says that you start learning language in the womb to begin with, and teaching them the second language from birth is the best way to do it.
Can
So-
I? Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just extending on that. I think one of the things that we are forgetting is that kids are smart, and I think that's what your kid was doing. That's my personal feeling is that kid knew that they know English. They're just trying to now kind of annoy me in some sense to make me do more work, because as you mentioned, my wife is Polish. And I've seen now, of course, my kids are quite, quite old. But at that time, when they were really very small, they knew that my wife, she knows English. She would talk to them in Spanish, not Spanish, Polish, and they would talk back in English. However, my father-in-law used to visit us, and he did not speak any Polish. They would
English.
Any English, and they had no problem speaking with him in Polish without me.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even question anything. And I remember once my son, he was maybe 3 years old, and he was talking to my father-in-law something about shoes. So the word is Buta, and okay, Buta is something that I understand. It's not. But I was standing there, and he turned around with shoe, and then he continued talking in Polish because he knew that in his opinion I don't know Polish. So, but he had no problem. But within that same context, as soon as my wife would start talking, he would
English.
answer back in English.
Yes.
They are smart.
Yes.
And they want to do the least amount of.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good. They are not just smart. Let me tell you, they are very honest. This is very important. They are very honest. Okay? Kids, baby, they are very honest to themselves. Okay? So they don't try to please parents just to force them. Yeah. So I would say I pointed out one thing. I say, okay, I once I have the system, I take it to a family. I don't say to the parents, say, this is the system for your baby to kind of develop first language. I shouldn't use second because it's misleading. But anyway, because the purpose is not for that. Okay, the result come naturally. I just say this is a funny toy. Take it and play with it. Okay, because I realize, you know, the parent, when you have a baby, what you care about is you want your baby to grow happy and healthy. You don't say, oh, why you learn my language is so slow? No, you will never learn, because it's, all the interaction is for the caring purpose. So I think we have to keep that in mind. That's the baseline of introducing mother robot. Okay? Yeah.
One of the challenges is the need. You know, if you don't have the need for you know, the parents who, you know, one speaking Chinese, one speaking English, if you know, for the need is communication, right? If you don't have the need to communicate, then you don't speak. But you know, in the grandfather situation, he wants to communicate with the grandfather, so he has to do it.
Yeah.
So the robots, how do you create that need for communication with the robots? I think that's.
The needs is, I don't see there's any problem for the needs. Just look at, you know, how much effort parents put to the children to learn second language. No, I don't see needs is a problem.
No.
The need from the child.
Yeah, because you are looking at need from parent side. That's not from child side. What's
Yeah,
the need?
from the child side.
What is the
Why
need?
does the
need
child
to
want to
have
speak?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, if that robot is providing a lot of fun and
Not just exactly. So robot has certain role, because robot is kind of at a companion. Okay, companion. You know, actually, baby crying for parent to spend more time on them, but parent just say, I'm too busy. Okay, so so robot would be very good as companion. And robot is not robot. Remember, the robot I'm going to create when it introduced to family, it's not robot. It shouldn't be a robot. Okay. See how baby addicted to some toy. They attach to it. Okay. Yeah. So that's the way I will approach when I introduce robot, and also not just companion but also facilitator. Okay, like when baby nappy wait, okay, and it must be changed, but mother are too busy, didn't pay attention. Okay, so because I will equip sensor. See? Okay, so robot will know first. Okay, even save cost. Say, oh, just one time, no need to change. Not well enough. See? So robot will also become a helper. Okay, assistant. Okay. Anyway, there are many roles. I have all think about all this. So there is a real need. I think it's time for me to wrap it up. You know, I once again thank you for your participation and all your input and discussion. Thank you once again.
Okay, we have some stuff here. Please.